Welcome to the Last of Us recap from the Dark Screen Society, the best podcast on the whole entire internet. We're getting ready to deep dive into it and break down episode 5. But first, we're going to say good morning to Gigi,
Hi.
Seth,
Morning.
Brian.
Good morning.
So,
Tomorrow.
we did episode 5 last night. It's getting into the meat of the season, and I am curious to what you guys just a general thought of what you felt about the episode.
I liked the episode. I really liked the episode. There was the only scene that I didn't care for was Ellie going into the theater and like playing the guitar. I was like, okay, we've already seen this. Next, like this, stop harping on this. That was like the only scene that I did not care for. That, and it was like so incredibly drawn out. But other than that, I really liked the episode. I mean, I'm assuming that we're going to get into it, but I have like a lot of questions about the spores.
Ryan?
I really enjoyed it. It seemed to fly by as well. Because
Yeah.
I got to the end and I was like, wait, there's only 2 minutes left. What the fuck? Unlike GG, obviously, I was confused why the spores hadn't been in it previously, because in the game they're in there almost immediately. So it's good that they've brought it in now, and we'll be able to discuss that, as you say. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Seth?
I loved it. I think it's my second favorite episode of the season. I really, really liked it. I thought it was awesome. I love the spores. And yeah, just overall it's great.
Wait, what's your
Awesome.
first favorite?
The Joel's death.
Oh, okay.
Was that episode 2?
Yeah.
Episode 2 was pure perfection, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I liked this episode. Then I broke it down with Justin on the phone, slasher talk after the episode, and I liked it more. But now I'm back to somewhere in the middle, personally. There's just a couple. Like it was a really good episode, but there's a couple things that they changed that are very weird to me because it's just like jarring. And I just played through, because I've been playing through as it's going, and I just played through this section like 2 days before the episode dropped, so it was maybe even a little bit more jarring. So if it brings it back to episode 5, we're at the theater with Ellie and Dina, and some decisions need to be made, and this is picking up after the announcement from Dina telling Ellie that she's pregnant. We had that scene last week, and they bond over this situation, and now it's focused upon Ellie's goal of let's find Abby and let's avenge Joel, and that starts to unfold in episode 5, which is pretty tuned to the game, because we spoke last week of how they changed the interaction and the announcement between Ellie and Dina, which I understand that they're like building that chemistry between those two characters, because in the game, Ellie was very upset because she became a liability. You know what I mean? Like, and she was like, why didn't you tell me? And she was very angry. And then we got her being excited that the 3 of them were going to have this baby and that she was going to be a dad, which it took me a minute, but I accepted it. And I was like, this is fine. So now they're on this journey, and Dina comes with her to go out on this journey, which is not what happened in the game. It's completely different than what happened in the game, but I was okay with that. Like Dina going. The biggest thing, the 2 biggest things I had an issue with in this episode was, one, the spores. But I know why they did it, because you knew about the spores the whole entire time. And in the first season, it should have been shown. There were so many journeys you went on with Joel where he put on, that you had to put on gas masks to go through these sections and things. Like, the spores have always been a thing, but now they're like introducing it as this plot point, which I understand why they're doing that. What I don't understand, and this is, once again, I think Bella Ramsey's doing the best she can with the material that she's given. There is no sense of urgency whatsoever for her to achieve what she's doing. And I don't like the fact that they're writing Ellie like a stupid character, because she relies on Dina to look at the map of where they're going, and she has no survival skills. She doesn't know how to plan anything. Like, even when they get into the stalker scene, which I thought was magnificent.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the practical effects were so well done, the way that they were hiding, like that was the stalkers from the game. It was very condensed and short compared to the hour you spend with them in the game, maybe 45 minutes, but I loved how they did it. But her plan was like, oh, well, there's two of us, you go one way, I'll go the other way, then we'll just kind of flank them. And then, like, her plan fails miserably. And as somebody that plays the game, Ellie don't need nobody to read no map for her. She's fucking badass. She can shoot a gun. Like, she has great aim. She has great survival skills, and she is determined to achieve her goal. And we didn't get any of that urgency or intelligence from Ellie until the very end of this episode. And that was probably my biggest gripe. Like, I understand how they built up to the Nora situation, and then you've seen that rage from Ellie. But up until that point, that's where it kind of lost me. And I still really enjoyed it, like, from a TV person's perspective. So instead of babbling, I would like to hear your opinions of well, I was trying to recap the episode. You know what I mean?
No, you nailed it. Like,
of what you guys think. It's just, when she's sitting there and she's got that roller out, and Isabella Marcet is so fucking good. Like,
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She is good. And I think she carries the chemistry of their relationship, because Ellie just kind of seems, in the beginning of the episode, she seems kind of like lifeless. And the scene with the guitar too was done differently in the game, because you get like a Joel flashback.
Yeah.
So it has more levity to it than just what they did in the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus,
It seemed just so like unnecessary in that episode, because it's like we just had the other episode where it was like super emotional, like very beautiful. And then this one was like really slow, and it just felt kind of like purposeless, like because Dina like wasn't there. It just wasn't
Right.
emotional. It was like so quick, didn't feel anything, no Joel flashback. So it was just like, okay, we just had this scene.
But if you would have took it in the context of the game, whenever she was told she was pregnant, she got pissed off, and she's like, fuck this, I can't deal with this, I'm going to go explore the rest of this theater. That's when she stumbles into the memory of Joel and the guitar, because it's like a way for her to control her anger. So we got it an episode later and out of context. That's why it felt like it didn't fit.
Yeah, totally. Like that would have hit a lot harder if that's how it played out. But since it played out like differently, I'm like, oh, I feel like it just shouldn't have been in there.
Right.
But that's interesting about Ellie's character, like that because she is in the show, like she is super helpless and like dumb, and like she's the reckless one. Like, I'm just gonna go in there, like, anyways, I started blasting, and that's I didn't know that that's not how she is in the game.
It's not, especially if you take, like, for you, Gigi and Brian, who have seen just the show, or the show, even the last episode, like the finale of season 1, like when that restaurant and stuff is burning, like that was Ellie. You know what I mean? Like she was able to navigate that situation. She was able to fight her way out of that situation. And like that person has been gone till the very end of this episode. You know what I mean? Like, so you just forgot your survival skills. I do want to hear what you have to say, Seth, because you have played the game.
Yeah, so I think there's a reason that we're seeing this side of Ellie. And that reason is Dina. I don't think Dina is ready to see the rage-filled Ellie that we saw at the end of the episode. And so she's playing it up as she's a dumber person. And when she's not with Dina, which I'm sure is going to happen sooner rather than later, since she was shot with an arrow in the leg, we're going to get unhinged Ellie just going the fuck off on everything. I mean, you saw her at the end of the episode. Like, she was finally pissed and was like, I want revenge. And I think it's all just been a fake-aid for Dina to show that she like has a loving side, because I don't think she's ready for that side of her that like is very comparable to Joel. That's my take on it.
That's very fair, and that's, I guess, how it plays out in TV land. But it's so off base of the character that we know and love. even the Seraphites, like when they introduced the scars, that was almost beat for beat from the game, except in the game, Ellie discovers them by herself. She's not with Jesse and she's not with Dina. They weren't with her. And then the way that she got shot with the arrow and then they just weren't in the episode anymore was just like that transition from that to Nora.
Yeah.
There's such a huge piece of that journey that's missing.
They're definitely TVifying it. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and like obviously we haven't gotten Abby in a while, and in the game you play as Abby, but she's also alone like Ellie in the game. So like we were joking around that whenever we do get Abby, it's going to be her and her team instead of her being alone to make it you care about these characters and all of their friends along the journey. But
yeah.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, they're definitely making it TV-fied.
I feel like it is really hard though, like to
It
make
is.
a video game that's so story driven into and also it's like you're playing these characters. That's not that's not going to transpire on TV. There is
Mm-mm.
no way that you can emulate playing a character for hours on end where there is interactive gameplay, like where there's shit happening, like you could
Right.
pick stuff up or fight, infected and stuff like that. It's like there's just no way to transpire that onto TV because it would be so incredibly fucking boring. Like I'd be like, why are we just watching them walk around? I don't care. Like, so like I think that is really hard. And also to like match like sentimental moments, heightened moments, sentimental moments, heightened moments. Because I think everything in between like would just feel like filler. So yeah, I think that is hard. But that's kind of Seth. I did the same thing with like Ellie's character. I mean, I don't know, like we do see that she doesn't have this like sense of urgency or just like she just doesn't really feel like a badass that she was in the first season. Kind of like what you were saying, Chuck, like when she's fighting off fucking creepy preacher guy, like there was just so like she just had so much more like badassery to her than she does in this season. But I wonder if that's just because it's like I I feel like they're trying to have her character be more like I don't know, like softened or just kind of like letting loose because like now she has somebody that she's able to be to feel safe with. Like I know if I don't got it, Dina's got it,
It might also be because obviously she has been reckless in the past, and now Joel's dead. So maybe she's like, if I go in like all guns blasting, I might end up like Joel. So I maybe have to be a bit more like conservative with my actions.
Yeah.
So she maybe learn it, or maybe they have just dumbed her down for TV. They've just like flanderized her. But
yeah,
I think
I imagine there's a reason for it.
I think there's a little bit of what everybody said. I think what they were doing, because even whenever she has Nora in that spot in the game, Nora does not go in there on her own. Ellie pulls Nora into the spores, like purposely, which has a lot of impact in the game. And that's when Nora registers and realizes who the fuck Ellie is. And back to that, that's where it all comes full circle to that hospital room where Joel shot Abby's dad. And Ellie also, and I think maybe we get it in the next episode. I don't know if Seth will agree, but there's a huge cutscene of a flashback where Abby goes on her own in Seattle, Ellie goes on her own in Seattle to the hospital, and she finds all this paperwork and everything and like figures out what really fucking happened. Instead, they transfer that into Nora's dialogue because Nora really tried to pound it in about what a piece of shit Joel was and what he did. But Ellie had already previously found that out. So we don't know if the show's going to do that or not. But that's why I think they did it for the show, because it's like, oh, you have this nice girl. She's, we understand. Maybe she's traumatized. That's why she's somber. And then she, it builds up the impact of her turning to the rage, like on Nora. But that's such a jarring change from what we've seen in the episode finale of season 1. So like, oh, all of a sudden you forgot how to read your map, how to explore, how to fight for yourself. And then Dina telling the story about the first person that she killed, which I loved. That's not in the game neither. And then Ellie responded to that the same way to the pregnancy. Like there was like no empathy or sense of urgency or anything to it. It was like Dina's like pregnant and down to go kill this bitch because she's like, I don't even care what the fuck happened to Joel, like, or what he did. Let's go get him. And Ellie was like she was the voice of reason, which was such a big change from the game.
Do you think maybe when they were like they cast, I've forgotten her name already, but Dina's real actress, and they were like, she's got such charisma, we're going to switch things up a little bit and give her some Bella Ramsey stuff because she might be able to portray it not better, because I'm not going to slag off Bella Ramsey's acting. She gets enough of that online, but because as you said, she didn't do a lot of things. She wasn't even there in the game. But
yeah, I think they have to develop them so they're not secondary characters, which they're very much secondary characters. So they had to switch some of that dialogue to make you invested in these. Same with Jesse, these other characters. Seth?
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing about Dina talking about her like family and what happened. I actually really liked that sequence because it showed like a reason for her wanting to be there. Because in the game, it's just like they don't really say what happened. They just said that her mother died in the game, and then it just like they go fast forward.
I actually didn't like that sequence.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like, I liked the story that she gave. I am just personally, I don't like when any scene is written where it just doesn't feel like actually what where you're trying to write a character so much where like they're so like badass and cocky, like where she's like, and then what happens next? And then what? And I'm like, I feel like nobody would actually say that in real life. Like it just felt so
Like forced.
just
You
like,
mean-
yeah, like
That makes
forced and
sense.
like,
Yeah.
oh, like she's trying to come off being like really like cocky and arrogant. But I'm like,
Mhm.
nobody actually I don't know, just like I was like, this is so I hate this. Like I was like, I hate the way that they wrote this scene. Like I
So
wish
Walking
it
Dead.
was yeah, like yes, it's very like dramatized or whatever, where I'm just like, nobody actually talks like this in real life. Like, I feel like if you were telling this story, you would be like, yeah, so then they came in and this is what happened. And I feel like shit about it. And this is why that if anything like that were to, if I didn't kill this person, then I would have gone after them forever. And that's why I'm here. Like, I feel like that would have had
Right.
way more of an impact than having Dina be really cocky and arrogant in that moment. Yeah, I like actually truly
So-
did not like that sequence.
So that was in reference to that. So you're saying that's in reference to Dina's dialogue, not Ellie's?
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, it was Dina's dialogue.
Okay, because
Yes.
I thought Ellie's dialogue in that same sequence, when she was like trying to guess what the next part of the story was also a little arrogant and cocky. Like she kind of just knew, oh, this is everybody has this kind of sob story type kind of thing. It was a weird scene. I agree
Yeah,
with that.
I just don't think that that's actually how people interact with such like like, oh, if I'm trauma dumping on you, that's not I'm not gonna like pose the story in this like way. I don't know. I
another
did
way you could
not
get
like that was
around
written.
that is, again, like these people just grew up in a small area with maybe 3 or 4 people, so maybe only way they've spoke is in trauma dumping, and
Mhm.
they've only known like this shitty place where they've grown up. They're not like they can go and throw on TV or jump on the internet to learn all these things. So maybe
Mhm.
that is how they would speak if you've not had a proper formal education.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
just
like, I didn't mind the trauma dumping. That's fine. I feel like I can do
right.
that with strangers. I'm just saying, like,
It's like the delivery
it's
of it.
the delivery, like
Mhm.
how it was like, and then what happened? And then what, Ellie? And it's like, what is happening here? Like, just tell her the story. Like, why is this a quiz? Why is this a pop quiz right now? That's what I didn't like about it.
It's really weird, and I would have to say that Gigi and Brian, well, Seth too, but I'm sure that he played the game. But I'm sure you guys can relate because I'm sure you've watched many movies after you have already read a book,
Mhm.
and
Oh
then
yeah.
then there's like these huge sequences in these books that you see it play out film, and it's different, and it's like it's really interesting to see how Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, obviously the creators, are trying to condense this like these 5-hour clips into 15-minute sequences. You know what I mean? So like I think they even struggled writing, how are we going to jam all this material in this short amount of time, so then it comes off like a little bit clunky as to what we've seen. Like even whenever, like, okay, you want to take Jesse and Dina to the park, and that's how you want to unveil the Seraphites. That's fine. But even after Dina got shot in the leg and her and Jesse took her, to refuge and got her out of there, that next little segment too was really weird to me because it was so from the game what the Seraphites did with hanging the guy and all that, except you watched it from afar in the game and they really zoomed into the scythe and all that to add the, these are brutal fucking people you're dealing with. But then Ellie runs away. She trips. She falls in the mud. She forgets she has a gun and a bow and arrow. She's completely lost in the woods like this helpless little girl. And then all of a sudden you're going to confront this lady and be a fucking badass again. Like that transition is, for me personally, is very jarring because like in the game, and I know you can't get this whole 2-hour sequence in the game, but in the game, like she comes up against this bank. There's a bank and she's crouched down against this bank, and exactly how it was with Jesse and Dina. And then you see the torches and you hear the whistling from the scars from the Seraphites. And then that plays that whole scene out. But then it's like, boom, you hit them with a smoke bomb, an arrow, you creep up on them, start stabbing these motherfuckers in the neck. And because she's a fucking badass. And for her to go to like almost Friday the 13th, part 7 trope of tripping, sliding in the mud and forgetting everything she's ever known in her whole entire life was like shocking to see. So like, even when I was talking to Justin, when she finally, like when she slowly kneeled down to Nora, Bella Ramsey's eyes changed. Like it's almost like they became encased in black,
like a shark.
Yes, like
yes.
she did. Like they they put black onyxes, and her eyes became dead black, like a great white shark. And I said it out loud, and Justin said he was watching it with his roommates, and he couldn't help but burst out. And he was like, "That's it. There's my fucking Ellie," was his exact words. And I was like, "Yes, this is that Ellie that had no hesitation to beat that bitch with a pipe because of what she was trying to do. That is Ellie that we've been 4 hours of her through every single scene that you've seen. She was like that. She was a determined fucking killing machine. And like, that's a big thing, but I still really enjoyed what they did for TV. Like I did not like this episode at all. It's just like wrapping your head around the changes.
Yeah.
I think it's time, like, I'm glad I haven't played the game because I was just able to enjoy it and not be like,
right,
I don't, this doesn't feel like what I remember it and what I've fallen in love with. So like I didn't, the dialogue didn't bother me. Again, just two young lasses that are getting to know each other, and I don't know, maybe they would talk like that. I don't hang around with.
Love the word lassie.
I know you made it sound so lovely.
I know. It's
Well,
two lovely lasses.
I also think there's really cool things that they changed that I did like that they added. Like whenever they first went into that room and that door was open and Dina was going to go into the door where the stalkers were, and Ellie is like, "Oh, well, I'm the only one that can get bitten, so I'll go." But then they like have that conversation where she slips up and says that she loves her.
Yeah.
But then they cut off letting Ellie say that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very important because she never even told Joel that. Like she never even told Joel that, she's in this land of depression and desperation and gloom and doom, and she's never said those words to anybody. And the fact that they did that and like cut it out, that she didn't actually verbalize it, like you knew it, you seen it, but she didn't say it.
Yeah.
I thought that was very important to the dynamic of their relationship because she loves her.
Yeah.
But she couldn't even like verbalize it because that's how fucked up the world is that they're in. So I don't know. I kind of like that they added that like that.
I did. I liked that, and like the scene too when they were in the theater or wherever the fuck they are. Yeah, it's a theater, and like Ellie, the map scene, and then Ellie's walking away, and then Dina is like, "Ellie," and like that's when I thought that she was gonna say it, and then they didn't. But I like that it was just kind of like they just looked at each other and they knew that that's what it was. I thought that was a really sweet. I thought that was a very realistic moment between people because I think everybody's been there. Like,
I agree.
When you know that you love somebody and you don't want to say it, but there are moments when it's like, oh, we're saying it without saying it. I thought that was really sweet.
Well, because you want to say it on like day 5, but you have something in your head. Like, I got to wait 93 exact days before I say it because you're going to say it first out of spite, which was really cute that they wrote it in like that. Like, I really, really did enjoy that. I'm really glad that we finally got Tommy news too, because you do know now that Tommy did leave Jackson and he is on his way. Because obviously that has also changed from the game, because Tommy was the first person from the game to go look for
Grim
Ellie.
Reaper.
Okay, so that's what my question was, because first of all, I fucking loved that stalker scene. I thought it was
It's so good.
absolutely terrifying. Like
Mhm.
when we see that first stalker, I was like, "Oh, that was terrifying." And then
That
I
wasn't in
love
the game either, which was like I love
Oh.
that they made that for the show. Like that whole soccer scene was so cool.
Oh shit. Okay, because that was my
Stalker
question
scene.
was I don't know that it was like I don't know. We're really on theme with our
Yeah.
stalker,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Stalker and soccer.
Well,
stalker and stalker.
they
Um,
foreshadowed it from the first interaction she had with the stalker, which she did acknowledge
yes.
whenever they were down. In the game, it's Ellie by herself. You're
Mhm.
in an office building, and they're like, she notices them like peeking down a hallway, like behind this like
Ew.
file cabinet. So you're like in this huge sequence. It's a very difficult sequence in the game, because they are like, do you see how quick they are in the show?
Yes.
So you're at a point in the game where you have like 2 fucking bullets for each gun. You don't have no materials, and then you have all these things creeping around that you have to navigate. And I loved the addition of Dina being in the
Yeah.
scene, and the intensity of like, oh, there's one, we can get it, and then oh, there's 2, and then like, oh, holy fuck, there's
There's
58 of these
yeah.
motherfuckers that are going to kill us. I really like that change. I thought that change was for the better for the show.
So, first of all, I hate that it's like they kind of like they vocalize, but it like almost low key sounds like they're talking. Like I hate that. Yeah, because I was like, oh, this doesn't sound like the others. Like they kind
Mm-mm.
of sound like they're almost like I don't know jargon. But that was my question: is what the change was in the show, because you're like, oh, they're gonna fucking die, and then all of a sudden Jesse comes to the rescue when in the game is Jesse always there?
No,
He is
yeah. Go
well,
ahead.
he is but the scene that we see like him saving Ellie, it's different in the game.
Okay, but
Yeah,
that's where he comes in.
yeah,
Yeah.
she goes
Okay.
in. There's this huge long scene, which is another one of the toughest. I just played through this. It's one of the toughest
It's
parts of
hard
the
as
whole
fuck.
fucking game. Like it's hard, because you got wolves, and there's like 50 of them across
Mhm.
like 3 different sections. They all have dogs, and these fucking dogs are the hardest thing in the world. Now, obviously, they didn't put the dogs in this TV show, because you literally take a shotgun to like 6 German
Yeah.
shepherds.
Oh,
and, and,
Jesus.
and it's like you'll throw a bottle, pull out the scope, the dog runs to the bottle, and you just blow their
Yeah.
brains out. Like it's brutal as fuck in the
Yeah,
game.
there's no way
Yeah.
they could have put that in the
John
TV
Wick would be
show.
pissed.
Right, but,
Dude,
but,
yeah.
but but and this is a scene me and Justin were like, God, I hope they fucking put this in the game, because it's a really cool sequence. Not the dogs, but so she gets through one wave, then you get to another wave, and then you get to this third wave, and it's just overwhelming. All these people looking for you. You have no bullets, no provisions, nothing. You're like, what the fuck am I gonna do? They surround you. You're getting ready to walk out, and a hand goes over your mouth, and then it like fades to black. You see Ellie backing up slowly backwards. Then it's Jesse. So then they devise this plan in the game of how the fuck they're going to get out of here. And they see this truck. And this scene I wish was in the game, or in the show, because it was fucking awesome. So there's
Oh,
like,
I remember. Yeah.
there's like 5
So
people,
much
right?
fun.
And Jesse's like, I'll take the one on the right. You take the one on the left. So you creep through this grass, you grab him by the mouth, stab him in the fucking neck. Then you do it to 2 more people. Then they start kind of rushing, but you get into this truck. Jesse starts, starting the truck, and they're all rushing at you. So as you escape in the truck and you're driving down the road, you go through this huge infected horde. So all these, remember how they were running at the gate in Jackson?
Yeah.
Imagine them running at this truck as you're escaping from this town, and
Oh, God.
she's like reaching over his lap, shooting him in the head and swerving down the road. But then this clicker jumps and lands on the windshield, and she's like pop 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 and shoots it in the head, and the windshield's broken, and they're driving. Then they wreck, and they go into this fucking lake, and then there's this huge like underwater scene, like, and it's so cinematic in the game. You're like, what am I going to do? And they
Yeah.
cut all that out. which I understand.
They ran out of budget, Chuck. They used it all for episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's also something that they foreshadowed in this scene, which me and Seth know about, and I'm not going to mention what it is, but if you paid attention to the very beginning scene of this episode where the general lady's talking to the lady about what happened in B2,
Yeah.
they explained B2 and why B2 is B2.
Yeah.
Because when Ellie is facing off with Nora, there is something simultaneously going on at that moment, but we're not going to get that probably until episode 1 or 2 of season 3. That we're not going to get it this season. There's no way we get it this season.
If I could just take it, sorry, just take it back a little bit. I didn't really love the scene where Jesse suddenly shows up because it's very like Deus Ex Machina. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And Jesse's found him. I'm not a big fan of that. Oh, that's so convenient that he's managed to do this. Like too many horror movies do it as well. Where like, oh no, there's at peril, there's nothing to get out of this. Here's a character that you've forgotten about, but not enough that I was like, this show's fucking stupid now. But I was like, I wish there was a different way. Like the way you described it, sound not the whole cinematic bit, but him being sneaky sounds a lot more interesting than him just coming in and shooting somebody. And
yeah, it worked. It worked for me because of that part from the game, because whether it was the big cinematic or it was him saving them from the stalkers, which I thought was a pretty pulse pounding scene. All of that aside, Jesse saving them is very fucking important. Like
that. I'm cool with that. Just how
yeah,
convenient.
Perfect
just
timing.
He's about to get killed. And run out of bullets. Here's somebody to save you. But like that's a very common trope. So
it's just like TV. But I thought the same thing too, Brian, where I was like, of course he comes in right now. But still, like I didn't it wasn't enough to like, for me to hate it. The thing that I think is like interesting is I still have no fucking idea like why the Scars and the wolves are like fighting. Like I don't really.
I hope they never tell us.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting that I'm like, why are they so
just two tribes at war?
Yeah, like why do they hate each other? But the thing that I am excited to learn more about is this whole like the spores and like B2 and everything, because one, I think it's interesting that they're still in the fucking hospital, because I'm like, if the spores are in B2, don't they travel through like the vents and stuff like that? Like, I feel like there's no way to actually, and I know that they said that they're like, oh, we sealed off like the door and stuff like that. But I'm like, I feel like there's actually no way that you can totally, completely seal off this area without it somehow escaping and seeping into the hospital and everyone getting infected. But I don't know, maybe we'll learn more about that. But I liked the introduction of like the spores. The only thing that I had a question about is like with Ellie is I know that she's immune, but she's like breathing in these fucking spores. And when she leaves the hospital, I'm like, isn't that still in your system? Like it's in your nose and in your lungs.
You've seen them coughing it out, like when they were all up against the wall and they were breathing and it, like the spores were coming out of their mouth.
So I'm like, it's in your nose and it's in your lungs. Like, are you just going to leave the hospital and then like, oh, all of a sudden you're not going to transfer these spores to other people? Like it's just out of your body.
They never explain that in the game neither, because there's sections where she doesn't put the gas mask on. Even when she's with Joel, she's like, oh, there's nobody around. Do I have to put this stupid thing on? Other than the fact that just solidifies how immune she actually is.
Yeah.
Like, so that's how they pound it in the game. Like, you're just immune. It don't matter if you're breathing them or not. Like, she's just fine. It just
should have met with CDC before.
But like, I'm saying, like, how is she not spreading this to other people? Like, once she like, that's fine.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's how they convey it in the game. Like, she's just that immune that she can't spread. It doesn't affect her at all. Like she doesn't ingest it. Like it's just, that's how it appears in the game. So I think they're trying to convey that in the show. It's just harder to convey because you're spending less time with it. It's jarring to say, oh, you just breathe all this shit in. Like I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
Because
They
I'm like,
want
that's
you-
not how illnesses work. Like,
Yeah,
even
they
if you're
just-
like immune to it, you're like, you're
Yeah.
still gonna spread it to people
Right.
like,
They
by
just want you.
breathing on them.
Yeah, they just want you to look at it as like she's as immune as fuck. None
They're
of this
like, just don't
matters.
think too
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
about it,
yeah,
girl.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, Seth,
like-
I know you have something to say.
I forgot what I was gonna say originally, but I did want to say about the spores. I love how they introduce them, or like they're the version of spores in this, because in the game the people like are already dead, and like having them like breathe in and breathe out, and then breathing
Yeah,
out is like
sick.
is sick. But it's also like that's got to be the worst way to go, because you're like you're still alive and you're just stuck on a wall, like
Mhm.
breathing in fresh air and putting out spores. Like that's got to be rough.
So, okay, I do have a question about that though, because like that's kind of one thing that I didn't understand is that they're like stuck to this wall. Like, why didn't they turn into like the infected? Like, why are they
Just
like,
wait.
Yeah.
okay, because I'm like, I don't understand.
There's something. How do I say this? Back to the first part of the episode when they explained the containment of the basement and everything. So
Good.
then they explained that. Then they give you the visual of it when she's down there.
Yeah.
There more to be. Let's just say more to be revealed, but they will explain it, and you'll understand why. It's very interesting.
Got it. Okay.
I remember before. Sorry,
Oh,
let me
yes.
jump in, Gigi, before I forget again. So the Seraphite stuff. I do think we're gonna get a reason, Gigi, for them fighting with each other. I still think that lady is the prophet, because you see another like photo of her on the wall, or like
Yeah, the
portrait.
feel her love.
Yeah. And it looks exactly like her. And even though she's like angry at the Seraphites in this episode, I still think that there was like something, either that she was like part of them and she was their prophet, and they're hiding the fact that she like turned on them. I that's where my head is at this point, is like she was still part of it, and something must have like happened to like
That makes
get,
sense.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's,
I agree 100%. You have to like, and this is what a lot of people that never played the game don't know. You're playing, like when you play the game, you're playing two simultaneous timelines of the same shit with two different characters, because you play as Ellie and you play as Abby. So
Mhm.
we're getting all this Ellie perspective. So the Seraphite scene, the B2 scene, the basement scene, the Nora scene, all that shit plays out again from a different perspective through Abby. We're not getting at this. There's no way we get a whole Abby. There's 2 episodes left. The next one's going to be 3
Like-
flashbacks all in an
Yeah.
episode, and then there's going to be back to a situation. I don't think we get Abby until episode 1 of season 3. That's what I think.
I think so too, because
Yeah.
I was like thinking, I was like, how like, yeah, well, I think that we're gonna get Abby at the end of this season. Like, we're gonna be like, this is her, and that's the cliffhanger. Is
Oh,
Abby?
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. But I'm excited to see more Joel next episode.
I'm excited to see more Joel too. And Chuck, what you brought up earlier, I wanted to bring up again, because I finally remembered too. The thing you asked me earlier about Ellie finding out what happened in Seattle, or the hospital. You think that'll be in one of the flashbacks? But I actually think that's going to be in the flashback with Eugene. And like my theory is that Eugene died because he knew about Ellie's secret and he didn't want him to tell anybody.
That's
Oh,
you know what? That's very, very fair, because they have a character that has more than one line that they created a fucking wife for.
Yep.
That is
Yeah.
Eugene. So we do have to get some Eugene. So I think I do agree with that, Seth. So I think this next episode is going to be the mix in of Eugene. There's a very, very pivotal Joel and Ellie flashback that we're gonna get next. That
I'm gonna cry.
you're gonna fucking cry. Like they have to do it. And then when it gets to, because Seth agrees with me, I talked to Justin and a couple other people that watch it. The cliffhanger and waiting until next season. If you think people were upset about what the fuck's going on now, like, yeah, you're gonna have a whole fucking year to sit and wait on
Jesus, yeah.
how they're going to end it, because you're never going to fucking see it.
Can I just make a point on
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Seth's thing about like Eugene? That was the reason for him dying, is because he learned it and was going to tell. I don't know if I think that's the same, because Catherine O'Hara said, I think when she was doing the therapy, like she didn't like how Joel killed Eugene.
Yeah.
So that would make it seem like she knows what the reason for it was. So then why would he kill Eugene and not her too?
I don't think
Like-
she know, but that's why she's asking, and she wants to know what really happened. I think, and and keeps asking
yeah.
about what happened with Ellie, and so she knows that he must have known something for Joel to want to kill her or kill him.
Yeah.
And that's my thinking.
And that makes sense because whenever Joel said to Catherine O'Hara, I needed to save her.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because if Eugene did know her secret that she was immune and wanted to because Eugene obviously was this good, herbalistic fucking weed farmer
Yeah.
type kind of hippie fucking dude. Of course he's going to want to take the immune girl and create a cure to save the world and do everything like that. And Joel is so selfish because he lost Sarah and now he has a new daughter in Ellie that like, okay, you love her and you want to save the world. Well, you're going to be the second person I blow their fucking brains out to protect this secret,
Yeah.
which gives you more impact to why Abby bashed his head in with a fucking golf club.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's an honestly probably is what the route is going to be because it's like what else why
And
else would he want to kill this person?
I like them creating Eugene for that impact.
Yeah.
Like if they're going to use Eugene just as the impact to describe what a brutal human being Joel was, I want to see Joel blow Eugene's brains out.
Yeah.
Like I would love to
While
see
smoking
that.
a J.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, right. He's just like trimming buds and Joel's like, wow.
Do we know who Eugene is, like actor wise?
I don't think so.
I'll tell you 1 second. Just go ahead and talk.
For some reason, I thought it was Sam Rockwell, but I'm confusing that with White Lotus.
It's not. It'd be cool if it was.
That
Sam.
would be awesome.
I fucking love Sam Rockwell.
It's the summer or the year of cameo Sam Rockwell.
I do like the little nod to the scene with Nora and Ellie. I do like that Nora was like, oh, so you're her, you're the immune girl. Where I'm like, ooh, I love this, like where people know, like, ooh, there is this fucking urban legend of this girl being immune and we don't know who she is or like, all this stuff. So I really liked that. It just
yeah, that was to give levity to her character because Nora is dedicated to Abby. Like that's her fucking ace in the hole. You know what I mean? So she knows the story from Abby about, my dad got killed. But the reason my dad got killed is because they found the only immune person in the world to make a cure from. So like I do like how that scene played out.
Yeah.
I thought the scene, but like obviously we've not seen the end of it yet, but I didn't think Ellie was going to kill her. I thought Ellie was just going to walk away because I think like her beating her to death would be brutal, but seeing all those people on the wall, I think would be a worse fate for somebody.
Yeah.
So she'd just be like, nah, fuck it. Good luck. But then I didn't know there was a ladder so they could just climb up out there. So.
But the rage encompasses her to do that. And in the game, listen, you fuck her up with that pipe.
It's more like a golf club too.
Yeah.
It looks more like a golf club.
Yeah, it's a whole different type of apparatus of beating somebody's brains in, but they really let you get into it in the game.
I do like that. I like that they killed her because it's like I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, is she just gonna leave her to like to have this like awful fate? But it's like, no, dude. I'd want to fucking I would want you to die by my hands. Like I don't know what's gonna happen to you after this. Like I want to know that I killed you. That's psychotic, but
That's psychotic.
I loved this episode. I thought it was great.
Joe, and I actually love this casting because I just love this actor. It's Joe Pantalonio.
Oh yeah, you think you said that previously.
That's who plays Eugene. And Joe Pantalonio was in
Sopranos.
He was in The Sopranos. He was in Memento. He was in. I mean, once you see him, you're gonna know who he is. He's one of those guys that's in everything, but he's never a star of the show. He's a great actor.
I'd be interested to see him being a good guy because he's always kind of a slightly off bad guy.
So yeah, look like a stoner.
So that's what I mean. So like from what I know of his other characters, I probably wouldn't have pictured him as Eugene. So I'm curious to see how they make him Eugene.
No, there's one picture where I'm like, you look like a hippie. Like, there are a couple where he's wearing this. Yeah, there's a couple where I'm like,
oh yeah, I see one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Where I'm like, bro, he is. Yeah.
They actually give us did you see the picture of Eugene?
No.
They actually gave us there's actually a
look at
picture
that.
Oh,
of
shit.
Eugene. So he's and that
He
kind
looks
of
like a
looks like
hippie.
he does. He
Yeah.
looks a little bit like a stoner guy, hippie
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And he looked, this is like a leaked photo. So he actually looks like surprised too. So maybe that was, that will, and I think that'll be really cool if that's a conversation. He's like, rationalizing with Joel, but like we could save Jackson and we could save all this stuff.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
anybody
But if
complains
I,
about spoilers, we don't know anything about Eugene.
Yeah,
this
we're
is all-
just
this is all-
all
yeah.
speculation.
Yeah.
This is all speculation. I mean,
Yeah,
we know
sorry
that
if I
Eugene's
blow
there
the-
because he's casted. Yeah.
it was just a theory, guys. I don't know shit.
Can't believe
Yeah,
you ruined that
dude.
for everybody.
I know. I can't believe you wrote the
You
show and you
you've
ruined
I
it.
know, right?
the,
The hell.
who the priestess
No.
is.
And I also think that if they tell it that way, once again, we're speculating. If they tell it that way through a flashback with Eugene that gives levity to Joel with the impact, like all that shit playing into the other flashback that we alluded to is good. Next episode is going to be a lot. And then these next two episodes are going to be the next two emotional episodes compared to episode 2. Like it's Kleenex time, like buckle up, which I'm excited for. I did what we were talking about on the show last week. I watched 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in the last week, but I watched
Yeah.
1 and 2 together, and then I watched 3 and 4 together. And it plays out so much better for me as playing the game because like every question I have, it's getting answered. It's just 20 minutes from now, but a week later. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So when I breeze through them in packs, it really adds the changes don't jar as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
Well, that's
it's cool.
good.
But I'm really no, because I was almost out. Like I was almost completely out, and I'm all the way back in because I'm trying to look at it from a clean mind of just accepting it's for television.
Yeah.
But discourse like this on the greatest podcast in the entire world to like really, but I'm saying to really like break it down and then put that opinion in, and like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I really didn't like this, but then I'll text Seth after a thing. He'll be like, okay, but that was this because of this. And then Justin says, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes fucking sense. And then I like go back and look at it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes fucking sense.
I'm glad
Yeah.
Seth's replying to you again, though. After you ignored your call.
After I know. After he
I
left
mean-
me hanging, dude.
It's pity, but I'll take it. It's okay. Yeah, it's totally okay. But I think that you guys that have no idea, which I envy you guys, Gigi and Brian. Like I envy the fact that you have no fucking clue what's coming, especially season 3. Because I think season 3 is going to be a whole lot of episode 2, like like Game of Thrones height,
Yeah.
intense, millions of dollars of production. Like here we fucking go. It almost has to be like there's not going to be no dull shit in season 3.
Yeah.
I want to say too, Chuck, because I'm kind of with you on the point. It's like Brian and Gigi, you haven't played the game, so like I think it hits you guys so much harder. And for me, I think my issue is, and I'm like starting to separate it, but I think I'm like just thinking too far ahead into the future because of all the things that I've seen in the game and all the things that I want.
Mhm.
And so it kind of like takes away from the moments, like when I'm watching the show, like
Yes.
it takes away from the moments because it's like, oh, it wasn't like the game. But then when you stew on it, it's like, oh, it kind of makes sense and it's not as bad. But my mind's always like, well, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen?
Right. Mhm.
And it's like, we only have 1 episode or 2 episodes left of this season. Then we go into season 3. It's like, how are they going to conclude this? So I think to your other point, Chuck, is like watching all at once. I think once every single episode is done from season 2 to season 3, and then seeing that outcome play, I think that'll also hit harder for me.
Yeah.
I would almost recommend people that have played the game to to just stop watching it until it's done and then just watch it all at one fucking time. Because I've been thinking since episode 2, every episode that comes on, we're on 5. That's 3 episodes. Every single episode, I'm like, where the fuck is Tommy at?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like,
You're just thinking
know,
ahead.
like
Yeah.
it's Gabriel Luna. They paid he got a big check. Where the fuck is he supposed to be here? Where the
Yeah.
fuck is he at? You know what I mean? But now that I know, and they just introduced, and you do find out that Tommy, because he kind of, whenever she goes with Dina to Tommy before the council meeting to reveal her plan, it's not that he brushes it off, but he's so matter-of-factly more concerned with the city of Jackson
Yeah.
than Ellie's rage. So to find out that like he is the person that left with Jesse to come is refreshing, because like that's Tommy's another fucked up character. You know, I mean, which is cool. So like, yeah, I like what I like what they're doing. I watched a couple videos that really like shit on it, like real, and I just don't think people can get over like there's a difference between having material to act off of and being a bad actress or actor. And I don't think Bella Ramsey is a bad actor by any stretch of the imagination. She is purposely conveying the material that they've given her, which people are like, oh, it's because she can't fucking act. Well, listen, when she started smashing that bitch with the red pipe, like that is the Ellie I fucking know, and she crushed that scene.
We're gonna get more of that. I know we are. I think it's just.
I mean, you almost cannot proceed forward without it. Like it's so pivotal.
I think the bad actor comments are from the same people that aren't happy that Bella was cast in the first place.
I think that's it.
Like,
they're just
like go on Reddit and it is absolutely brutal. And it's like, no, it's not because we don't find her attractive. It's because she's a bad actress. So they've just pivoted. Now, people have been calling about on their bullshit about she's supposed to be 14, so that's a bit creepy. Like, oh no, it's because she's not a good actress, and it's like,
right?
You're hating this for literally no reason. You actually hate watching something now. Instead of just stop watching it.
Tune out.
It makes it be so much better.
Go fucking play the game. Like it's fine.
Hate watching's like a new trend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. Weird energy.
I have one last question here, real quick. It's for Gigi and Brian, because I'm interested to hear like your thoughts. For season 3, you know how like we only had one episode with Abby and like the rest of it's been Ellie. Say they do the reverse of that for season 3 and we get Abby for 4 or 5 episodes. Say there's 7 episodes and the last 2 are with Ellie. Would you guys still stay tuned in for the show, and would you still watch it if it was focused on Abby?
Well, I think Caitlin Dean was amazing, so I'd be happy if every episode was just her. But I would trust them if they did it that way, because they'll be like, okay, there's a reason they're doing it. So I wouldn't be annoyed if it was, I don't know, I'm trying to think when like Lost, for example, when it was like 6 seasons in and they started doing stuff like that, and I was like, okay, now I'm not that interested because the characters are like cliche to themselves, but I don't know enough about Abby, so I'm like, 4 episodes of Abby, cool, going to learn all about her now. So it wouldn't bother me at all.
That's how I feel too, where I'm like, plus I feel like we don't really know anything about Abby or the wolves, so it's like that would actually be a nice little glimpse into like what their world is like. We only know Ellie and Dina and Jackson and their people. It would be nice to have like a shift in that, and I love Caitlin Deaver, so I'm like, okay, yeah, that's totally fine.
So you're spoiling season 3 now as well, Seth. You spoiled
right? I know, what the hell.
No, it's not. It's not spoiling it. It's a necessity of the narrative of the show.
No, but also we have no idea if that's even what the
right.
But it's just like it is a theory that they could go that route. But like I was just more so wondering like if you guys would still want to watch it, if it didn't have those big people we've been following.
Yeah, no, that's a fair question.
Yeah, I think where they're gonna, and this is hypothetical because I don't know. I think what they're gonna end this season on is gonna make you whether you know it's coming or not, you're gonna want that. Like that's what they're setting it up for. That you're gonna want to know. Okay, we found out everything about Ellie. We know everything about Joel. We know everything about Jackson. The only thing we don't know anything about is this other character. But they're gonna put you in a position that you're gonna have a lot of fucking questions.
Yeah.
Because we still need to learn more about Isaac as well, because like he was mentioned in this episode, but didn't see him at all. And it's like, well, we've introduced like a very well-known actor, and he's just off now.
That's gonna come season 3 too, I believe, because that is imperative to the next half that you haven't seen yet. Because the lady, I agree with Seth. Like, and that's we're just guessing. Like, I don't know, but you already seen the writing on the wall from the. You've seen the blood on the wall, you've seen the people hanging, you've seen the pictures of the paintings of the lady. You know that entity or whatever that theory is exists.
Yeah.
That is going to get explained, but it gets explained from somebody else's perspective, which will bring all these questions together.
Nice.
So it's just, you could just hold tight because they have to explain it.
Of course.
To some degree anyway. I mean, there's a lot of things I thought they had to do that they didn't do, but they still ended up doing it in their own little way. So I'm excited. I can't wait for the next episode.
I feel like again, just a resurgence in the series. Like it's caught my attention again.
Did anybody watch the little thing afterwards this episode?
No.
This is the first time I didn't watch it because I
Yeah.
didn't want to know where they were going. Did you watch it, Seth?
I did, but I don't remember anything from it. I
Yeah.
was like
Okay,
half
good.
out
Okay,
of
yeah.
it watching it.
Yeah, good. I didn't watch it. I purposely shut it off when they rolled the credits because I kind of want to be surprised if it is flashbacks or if they, what way they go. I kind of wanted to be surprised. That's how much I liked the episode that I didn't want to know anything about the next one. That's the first time that's happened this season.
Oh,
I have a quick question.
I watched the next
trailer
episode.
thing.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought you were talking the big. It's flashbacks.
Okay, so it is flat. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
it's
is
going to be
flashbacks.
flashback.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So we're going to get what we think we're going to get. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but yeah, we get Joel. So that's what
So
I
I
was
thought
here's
you meant
a-
the other thing.
Here's a question for probably more for Chuck. So, do you think now that you're like, okay, I wish I'd done episode 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 at the same time? Do you think when 7 drops, you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then watch 7 so that it all makes sense, or do you think you'll just watch 7 when it drops?
Ooh. Do you know what? If you put it in that perspective, I might rather watch them all the way through. I just don't have that kind of time. But I think that it would be I almost think it would be very important to watch episode 5, skip 6, and then 7 back to back. I think because you'll have it in your head. If it plays out the way I think it's going to play out, what happens in 6 is very important to the story. But episode 7 and episode 5 would almost be back to back without that flashback. So like I might watch 5 again and then jump right into 7 because that will be a more cohesive story without flashbacks, having that in your subconscious. But no, 7's going to hit. No, there's a lot of things that are the topic of episode 7 that I don't care if you've never if you walked into this whole show and game blind and just watched episode 7, like if you're like, oh, I'm looking for something to watch. Oh, what's this show? Oh, it's on episode 7. I don't give a fuck that I don't know anything. Is going to be a riveting, shocking, jaw-dropping fucking episode just because of the material. So I don't think it matters how you go into it because you ain't seen that.
I mean, it was more your perspective because I know you liked like you've said that sometimes after an episode you're like, well, maybe I'll drop it now. So I thought maybe you'd be like a whole cohesive story. You would go all the way through. So just watching it from that point.
No, I actually think that they wrapped up they're exactly to where they're supposed to be in the game, in the show. Okay. So now I don't have that question because they finally caught up to the questions that I had with this episode, which I really enjoy. So now I want to see how the rest of it plays out because I need more questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's cool. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I think it's it's still well produced, well acted. I mean, I still think Isabella Marcet is stealing the show.
Oh yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what her career is, what she does, and follow her because like I've fallen in love with. She's a great fucking actress.
And a scream queen. She had the best scream in Alien Romulus.
Yeah. She was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be back next week after episode 6. I think we're gonna be getting up in the morning and we're all gonna really feel some kind of fucking way for the next episode. So I'm looking forward to that. But, we hope that you like our deep dive recap of episode 5 of The Last of Us. We're all going to continue to tune in, and you can like, comment, share. You can follow our Ko-fi, and you can find us everywhere. But please let us know in the comments. Please interact with us. We want to hear your opinion of this episode, what you think of it, and have some discourse because we're ready to conversate our views and opinions with your views and opinions in a respectful way. So we are the Dark Screen Society signing off, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.